Ruthless Made Promotions Round number 6 here at the Mercer County Fairgrounds in Salina, Ohio. I'm one of your regulars, Clayton Scalina. We do not have a face cam today, but trust me, ladies and gentlemen, I'm still here. I haven't gone anywhere. Our other regular, Kev Nevick, will be with us here in a little bit, but for now, I am joined by local boxer Dominic Zender. Dom, how's it going, man?
Hey, it's going real good, man. I appreciate you guys for giving me the opportunity to commentate tonight. Was supposed to fight tonight. Unfortunately, my opponent wasn't able to fight. So here we are, ready to commentate and watch some great fights, man.
Absolutely, absolutely. One of the biggest draws, I would say, for Ruthless Made is you're getting what you pay for. There's so many fights on these cards. Like, we have 16 quality fights tonight. I'm very excited. Action-packed from top to bottom, opening up with Josh Bales versus Rory Knipp. And we're just going to keep going and going and going. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you guys very much for joining us. Our first 4 fights tonight will be free. So if you guys are watching us on YouTube through Carnage Media or on Bite Size Sports, we welcome you and thank you guys for joining us. Make sure to click that link and buy the pay-per-view to see the remaining 12. But until then, Dom, when you're kind of getting ready, we're about 5 minutes from start. What's kind of going through your head when you're getting ready to fight?
Yeah, just trying to stay calm and focused. Wanting to not make it as big of a deal as it is. The biggest thing about fighting, man, especially pre-fight, is you don't want to make it too much of a big deal as it is. You want to stay calm and you want to be focused. Us fighters, if you train, at least how my team trains, we're confident in our training and our preparation for fights. So it's just about being in the moment and staying focused and relaxed.
Is there any special techniques you use to relax? Like, I've heard some guys like to meditate. Other guys will even go for a little bit of a workout before their fights, just so their body's recovered from cutting weight. What's your secret?
So honestly, man, I don't really have a secret. For me, it's just staying loose and relaxed. Sometimes I'll pop in the earbuds, play a nice song that I like, get real relaxed and loose. Because at the end of the day, it's just about getting in there, having fun, and just getting better, man. So
there's got to be a song, though, right? Like, come on, there's got to be one.
Oh, I got all my songs. My Beastie Boys. That's one of the big ones. Little Intergalactic, dude. That's what it came out to tonight. If I ended up fighting. So I have a wide selection of music that gets me nice and ready for those fights. So.
Is music something that you guys incorporate in your gym? Because I've heard 2 things. I've heard that some gyms will just blast music, get guys going, kind of keep them in the zone. But there are some gyms I've heard, especially in other countries, that won't play music. Yep. That keeps you focused.
So that's actually a real good point that you brought up there. Our gym is huge with music. We'll have drills that our coaches will tell us to dance to the song. Because at the end of the day, boxing is about rhythm. You got to have rhythm. There's rhythm steps, footwork. So they'll literally play a song and we'll have to dance to it. And, that's what boxing is all about, man. Being loose, being calm, and it's about rhythm. Everything is rhythm. So,
speaking of your gym, why don't you tell the audience about how you came to be as a fighter, where you train, stuff like that?
Yep. So my buddy Gavin Richard, Thunder, he fights tonight, and we were just hanging out, and I heard that he was a boxer, dude, and I always wanted to get into fighting. This is about 18 years old. I'm 19 now. And I was like, dude, where do you fight at? He brought me to the New Generation Boxing Gym with Coach Lamar, champ maker. And, I had my first fight. And then my first fight, I ended up quitting afterwards. I'll be honest, man. It was fighting stuff, man. And you can't just go in there. And I had to realize how serious of a sport this was. So I came back after that first fight, had 8 fights since. And, Coach Lamar has really helped me gain confidence and skill and ability. And, ever since, I came back, man, it's been a grind. And we've just been going at it Monday through Friday, training, and even some Saturdays, dude. So, boxing has changed my life in a whole lot of ways. And I'll give all that credit to the champ maker, Coach Lamar Wright, man. He's been one of the biggest mentors and just inspirations in my life. So,
when you talk about some of the guys at your gym, like you said, Coach Lamar, Gavin Thunder Richard, a staple, I would almost say at this point on Carnage Media cards. What are some of the other guys that you trained with?
So we got a lot of really good talent at our gym, man. We have a lot of really good pros. We got Roy Behringer, we got DeAndre the Axeman Ward. We have a lot of really good pros and other amateurs. You got Gabe Kalis, the blonde bomber. He's a really huge puncher, really strong puncher. We got a whole lot of guys. We got Boo. He's Coach Lamar's son. He's a 5-time national champion, decorated boxer, and I spar him a lot too. And man, he is so good with his feet, his range. He's fast. He's quick. We got a lot of young guys too. We got Duran. We got James Garth. Those guys are young, just killers, man. And they all started like me, man. Came to the scene, and Coach Lamar and Coach Ronald Greer brought us up from our first fight, man. And we've become very decorated and disciplined boxers. So
I gotta ask, you've taken 8 fights in a year, right? Basically been training about a year. Are you thinking about turning pro eventually down the road?
So, yep, I definitely want to turn pro and, do that, but it's going to be in good time. Coach, we're getting ready for nationals next March. So the goal right now in amateur is to win a national title and to go and to compete for USA Boxing. So once I go to a good amount of nationals, maybe get a national title under my belt, and then we'll go to that next level and, start going to the pros.
So everything starts with the amateurs, right? What are some differences for our viewers at home that you've noticed between how amateur boxers might go about things from fighting or training to anything from professional boxers?
So the biggest difference between amateur boxing and the pro scene is the pace for amateur boxing is a much higher output pace. And, that has to do with just it being shorter fights. You got 3 2-minute rounds, sometimes 3 3-minute rounds. So you're going to see a lot of volume and a lot of high combinations in those fights. You want to get your shots off because you got to score points. In the pros, you're fighting 10 to 12 rounds. So that's a much slower pace, and you got to be more methodical about, how you approach the fight. So that's the biggest thing I'd say is the pace. You're going to see a lot higher pace in the amateur scene.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as the Toledo scene grows, because we've seen a lot of big names come out of Toledo recently, Prince Albert Bell, who will hopefully be challenging for a world title here this year. Obviously, Jared Anderson. I saw him in Toledo last year at the Huntington Center. That was a great night, man. That was so much fun. I loved that. But as we see this grow, what are your thoughts on the growth of boxing in both the Toledo area and just the sport as a whole in America?
Yeah, man, it's it is such an amazing thing. How we've really been put on the map through boxing. Toledo, I feel like in all sports, the main sport that we've been known for is boxing. And like you said recently with Jared, bringing the city out for that card, that was an amazing card, dude. We had a couple of boxers too on there. We had DeAndre and we had Tyler McCreary on that card. It's a beautiful thing, man, because the reason we're able to do this is because the pros that come from Toledo and make it big, they give back to their communities. Just like with the last Toledo Golden Gloves that you worked at too. I fought that night, but Albert was the guest commentator. And, when we have fighters doing stuff like that, giving back to the community, that's how we grow. And that's how, Toledo's been so successful is our stars give back. That's the biggest thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as we kind of transition into hopefully starting here in a couple minutes, outside of boxing, what are some things you do? Because I've heard that fighters' lives can be kind of boring outside of training. Is that true?
Yeah, it really is, man. Most of, if not all my time is dedicated to fighting. When I'm not fighting, I'm usually working, doing that a lot. I work for Perfilon, and so it's a lawn care company. I work there, and I go straight to the gym after, and then right after I'm done boxing, I go to strength and conditioning. So they're real long days. In my free time, I like to watch sports. Big football guy, played football in high school. Basketball, I watch a lot of sports. I watch movies, play little video games here and there. But honestly, dude, my life is 24/7 boxing. Even in my free time, I'm studying boxing. I'm watching, Cuban footwork drills. I'm watching, amateur nationals and the Olympics. I'm always studying my game, my craft, so I can try to get better.
One thing that I've kind of picked up during my time doing these types of gigs is the strength and conditioning aspect of combat sports is kind of new. Like you're going to hear guys say 20 different things if you ask for advice on how to do that. Some guys are really into weights. Some guys believe only calisthenics is the way to go. What's kind of your approach to strength and conditioning?
So the strength and conditioning with fighting, dude, is like no other, just because of the output that you have to give when you fight. I am getting back into my personal trainer. When I got this, this new job, I stopped going to her for a while. Trish, I just got back into her. Gavin is the original person who introduced me to Trish. She's an amazing personal trainer, and with her, what we do is we'll do cardio days, but we will train our muscle groups too. Weightlifting, you don't want to lift heavy weights, but you need to.
And Dom, I'm gonna let you do this introduction right here. I think you might know this person that just
Alrighty.
joined us at the commentary table.
Yep, we have a legend in the boxing game, the best coach in boxing, the champ maker 419. How we doing today, champ
I
maker?
am good. Look at Dom. Clayton, how you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm excited to get started. You know, this is the worst part, is just waiting for everything to get underway. I'm sure that you can relate to that, knowing that you have some guys going up in here tonight.
Oh yeah, I can relate to that. Now also, I can relate to how Diamond and the Young Guardians are feeling putting this show on, because you know they probably been working for 2 days, so they probably just wanted to get started and over with.
That's one thing that people might not realize, is a lot of the coaches, especially on the regional scene, also serve as promoters and matchmakers.
Correct.
What's been your experience like with that so far?
Well, you know, I'm the president of the Toledo Golden Gloves, so we promote a lot of local boxing. Also the vice president of the Ohio LBC. So, you know, I'm also here working when, you know, making sure all the show is running safely, smoothly, and everything's doing everything right. The referee in there tonight, he's actually the president of the LBC in Ohio.
So we know we're getting some quality officiating tonight, then, right?
Absolutely, absolutely. This is actually our first show since we've all been taking our seats since we've been voted in.
Awesome. And you are also the head coach of New Generation Boxing Gym up in Toledo. How did you get into a coaching role, and what has that experience been like for you?
Man, if I told you that story, so, you know, I used to box, and when I was about 23 years old, I wanted to come back and to start boxing again, and I wanted to train for the Olympics. And my uncle, Aaron Dunbar, he was a boxer, but he had turned coach. I went to the gym, you know, to check on him and, you know, to tell him I wanted to make a return. And I started going training every 2 weeks, you know, for about 2 weeks. And I found myself, you know, when the kids were doing something on the bag or doing something wrong, I started correcting them. And, you know, he said, man, you should try to coach. I said, no, I want to pursue, you know, my dream of an amateur boxer and hopefully try to make it to the Olympics. And, but I, you know, still gave the kids advice. And then, you know, one day out of nowhere, I started seeing that, like, I'm the only person that was showing up, opening in the gym. And I kind of got, like, tricked into coaching. So, and here I am 2 decades later.
What are some of the lessons that you've taken away from coaching? Because you're interacting with these athletes every day.
So the lesson that you know, you learn a lot of lessons and as a coach. The most valuable one that you learn is that, you know, these kids that walk into your gym, they need you and they depend on you. So you wear many hats as a trainer. You know, one day you'll be the therapist, the next day you'll be the counselor, the next day you'll be, you know, the big brother or the dad or the uncle. So these kids need you, and you have to give them a positive view on life, so they can make the adjustments they need to be successful, productive people in life.
And I asked this same question to Dominic a couple minutes ago. I want to hear your thoughts. We've seen the growth of the Toledo boxing scene explode over the last couple years. Guys like Jared Anderson, Albert Bell coming out of Toledo. What are your thoughts on the growth of the Toledo regional scene?
It's been the dedication of the coaches. You know, back when we were boxing, Toledo has always had great talent, but we didn't have the outlet or the dedicated coaches, or I wouldn't even say the dedicated coaches. You know, we just didn't have that oomph or that push behind us. And a lot of us coaches now, we see that, and you know, so we want to do great. We're at every nationals. We're at every fight, you know. So Toledo's huge. Toledo's huge in the boxing scene, and we're here to stay for a long time.
Absolutely. We're looking to get started here in a couple minutes. Not quite sure what the holdup is, but stay with us, ladies and gentlemen. And Dom, I gotta ask, what's the best lesson that Coach Lamar has taught you since you've started boxing?
Oh man,
He's here and listening, man. I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Hey man, that's an easy question, dude. I think the biggest lesson in boxing is you gotta have confidence in yourself, man. You gotta believe in your training, and you gotta have confidence. You know, Coach Lamar was one of the first mentor person who gave me confidence in myself. They always talk about superstars and big athletes. They always had that one coach, right? It just takes one coach to make an athlete great. And Coach Lamar, for me, he was that coach. He was that guy that he lit that fire, and then he fueled the fire. And so yeah, man, I think the biggest thing in boxing and in anything in life is you have to have confidence. If you want to, if you want to follow your dreams, and if you want to do what you want to do and perform, you need confidence.
Absolutely. Confidence is the key to anything in life, just as Dom said. Now, Coach, I got to ask you another good one. What is your favorite part about coaching? Is there one thing that you really enjoy over anything else?
Man, I hate this sport. I hate boxing. I hate it. I hate it. Boxing is like a woman. You hate them, but you love them. So boxing is definitely, there's a lot of great moments. You got those kids that come in, they don't know a left hook from a fish hook. And then, you teach them and show them the art and science of the sport, and they just blossom right in front of you. I think that's what I love about this sport, and just seeing the transformation of the kids from not knowing something and then to being like Dom. I call him the professor. Dom is probably he's probably going to be a coach. He's probably going to be when he's done pursuing the sport of boxing, he's definitely going to be a coach.
Yeah, and that's 100%, man. And Coach Lamar has seen that. I love giving back, because I was one of those kids growing up who I didn't have a lot of guidance until I met Coach Lamar. So I definitely have a passion for just teaching and just helping people when I see them that when they need something, helping people in need. So I'm very excited to pursue this career, but after I'm also extremely excited to pursue my coaching career for sure.
Have you found yourself taking on that kind of mentorship role that Coach Lamar also went through when he was trying to get back into fighting?
Yeah, of course, man. Even like Coach was saying, how he, in the gym found himself correcting kids on the bag and whatnot. Coach can say this to himself. Whenever I'm in the gym, and I just can't help it, man. I love walking up to kids and beginners and just helping them with their technique and whatnot, showing them, the jab and the right hand and just little things, to help them improve. It's a different type of satisfaction to see a fighter, just grow and improve and get better. So it's definitely a passion of mine, is coaching for sure.
Absolutely. And it's looking like we're going to be getting started here. Cameramen are starting to take their places. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us on Ruthless Made Promotions Round number 6. Mercer County Fairgrounds, Salina, Ohio, brought to you by Carnage Media. And I'm going to go ahead and read off our sponsors real quick. HTI Truck and Trailer Repair, HTI Hall Trucking Express, Clearwater Pool and Spa, Bite Size Sports, Hot Take Sports, Flag City Towing, Busy Beekeeping, Black Swan Productions, Ohio Extreme of the MLS, Carnage Unleash, and the Wrestling Minute. And the theme music starts. I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our ring announcer, Eddie.
Ladies and gentlemen, Salina, Ohio, welcome to Ruthless Made Round 6. Tonight, we're featuring over 30 of the area's premier athletes, some competing for pride, some for glory, and some for championship status. But before we get rocking and rolling, I got a question for you. Are you ready? Tonight's event is brought to you by Katie and Carmen Long in collaboration with USA Boxing. Brought to you by Crinkle, our DJ, and Carnage Media. So, ladies and gentlemen, before we get this evening started, please join me in standing, removing your caps, and we will be playing our national anthem.
You see my
we go, ladies and gentlemen. What a beautiful country we live in to enjoy the liberties that we do. But before we get started, in collaboration with USA Boxing, let's recognize our judges, our medics, and our referees all sitting here cage side here. Let's give them a hand for their participation in the event tonight. And without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, are you ready to bring out our first fighters? Then fighting out of the red corner, it's Josh Bales.
Josh Bales, Young Guardians prospect.
He's probably got the best theme song. Best
classic
entrance
right there.
music right there.
This is a classic for sure, for sure.
You come out to this song, you better know how to fight.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. His father, John Bales, another local regional fighter who's participated in some of our cards here on Carnage Media.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner. He is the Lion. Hear him roaring. Yeah.
Once again, the Lion, Rory Kipp, 10 years old, 5 feet 4 inches tall, 116 pounds, from Delaware, Ohio, fighting out of Delaware, Ohio, Delaware Boxing Gym. He wants to shout out his mom, Anna, and his sisters, Paige, Paris, and Phoebe.
Sounds like he lives in my house. You know, I got 5 daughters, 1 boy. You gotta shout out mom.
Absolutely,
Always,
absolutely.
always.
You'll hear about it if you don't.
You know, right?
Both fighters making their way, starting off the night with a good youth fight. Once again, folks, Ruthless Made Promotions round number 6. Here's Eddie with the fighter introductions.
And introducing first, fighting out of the red corner, representing Young Guardians by way of Lima, Ohio, it's Josh Bales.
Once again, Josh Bales, Young Guardians,
And
Lima,
his
Ohio.
opponent fighting out of the blue corner, representing Delaware Boxing Gym by way of Delaware, Ohio, he is the Lion. Hear him roaring up.
The Lion, Rory Nip. Both fighters making their way for the instructions from our referee. Thank you all once again for joining us on our free part of our fights tonight. Make sure to click the link in the description to purchase the last 12 fights of our pay-per-view here tonight. Both fighters retreat to their corners, and we are ready to get underway here.
It looks like we got Josh in the southpaw stance, and we have Rory in the orthodox. So you're going to be looking for that outside foot battle. See who wins that foot battle to get their back hand in a straight line.
Lots of pressure early from Rory.
Wow, lots of volume. Good combinations from Rory. Looks like we had a mouthpiece fall out.
Yeah, Josh is going to actually be in some trouble if he can't establish a jab and move his feet around Rory, because Rory is actually, you know, he's putting those punches together.
Lots of pressure early from Rory as he scores his first knockdown.
And this is the exact type of stuff you want to see from your amateur fighter. You know, volume and punches and bunches. This is how you're going to get those 8 counts.
Punches and bunches. That's one I haven't heard yet, though, but I think that does a very good job at summarizing amateur boxing for sure.
Yep.
It's absolutely, you know, amateur boxing is all about scoring points. It's not about the big punch or the knockout. It's about scoring those points. That's what it's all about. And a referee, Jamie Howe, stops the bout. I'm gonna tell you something about Jamie. He's a great ref. You know, he's great at what he does. He's got soft in his older years. Don't tell him I said that. You know, he used to ref some bouts that I fought in, and boy, you know, he'll let you go. It was like, you know, every bout that he refereed back in the days where, you know, it was like a Turo Gotti and Mickey Ward type battles.
That's a classic. That's a classic. Ladies and gentlemen, look up Round 9 on YouTube, and that's all you need to know.
That's all you need to know. But so some of the people might be viewing and say, well, he stopped it, too fast or too early. This is amateur boxing. So amateur boxing is always safety first. And the ref sees what we don't see. So it's always better to err on the side of caution, to let one of these young men get hurt. So now they can, get out this ring, go back to training, and be in this ring another day.
Absolutely. There's lots of lessons that you learn, especially at this age of 10. So definitely looking for fighter safety. And here's Eddie with the official announcements.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, your winner of the first bout via referee stoppage, fighting out of the blue corner. He is the Lion. Hear him roaring out.
Once again, Rory Kipp, our first winner tonight. Congratulations to him.
Yeah, great performance by Rory. As I said before, that's what you want to see out of your amateur
All right,
boxing.
ladies and gentlemen, I am sitting here with the Lion. Let's hear him roar about who you have to thank for your victory tonight. You got a camera right here, buddy.
I think my dad for this opportunity and God.
There you go. Keep God first. Keep God first, and everything will be good.
Tonight, man. Man, if you want to, let's give him a hammer. He is the Lion. Hear him roaring out.
Few words, but many punches for our first winner of the night, Rory Kipp. Congratulations to him.
Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at W Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.dubby.gg and use the code BITESIZE.
And fighting out of the blue corner, Pepito, the movie Kota.
There we go. A little bit of a change there. Papito, the movie Kota, making his way to the ring. 18 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall, 132 pounds, from Columbus, Ohio, fighting out of Columbus, Ohio, Rising Stars Boxing Gym.
Yeah, because I actually think the bout 2 was actually scratched.
It was. We had a little bit of an issue with one of the fighters, but nonetheless, the show must go on.
So this is going to be a walkover bout, just acknowledging him for his hard work since his opponent didn't show up.
Hector Martinez did not make this bout, so your winner by default, Pepito, the movie Kota.
That's about as easy of a win as you could ever ask for, right?
Man.
Yeah, I know this is a little bit of a rare situation, kind of an interesting post. What would be bout interview? But first, what we're going to do is make sure we're showing thanks for those who helped you prepare for this bout. Who do you have to thank?
My coach and my pops, and my mom.
Hey, tell me what you're feeling right now. Obviously, probably a little bit of disappointment, but what's next for you?
Get ready for nationals, Albuquerque. Let's get it.
Hey, he is coming. It's Papito, the movie Kota.
Once again, want to give a shout out to Papito Kota as we move into, I guess, our third fight of the night now, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Things going, bringing out our next combatant, fighting out of the red corner, Preston Whitehead.
Preston Weichert making his way to the ring. Old school, 22 years old, 5 feet 10 inches tall, 147 pounds, from Salina, Ohio, fighting out of Lima, Ohio, Young Guardians MMA. He wants to shout out his team, coaches, and supporters. He would like to, his sponsors, Hometown Pizza and Dual Pressure, 1-2 boxing record, 1-1 kickboxing record, and 2-2 in MMA. Wrestling background.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Trevor Cruz.
Trevor Cruz making his way to the ring now, 22 years old, 5 feet 5 inches tall, 147 pounds, from Crawfordsville, Indiana, from fighting out of Crawfordsville, Indiana, Dark Side Boxing. Preston actually took this fight on 2 days' notice. I believe he was notified Thursday evening that he would be fighting tonight. Always makes for a good matchup. Dom, I'm going to ask you first. When you take a short notice fight, what are some things that are kind of going through your head?
Man, honestly, and coaches taught me this the most. In amateur boxing, man, there's no such thing as short notice fights. You fight when you can, and we're always hungry. We're always looking to get in the ring and compete. So,
representing Young Guardians by way of Lima, Ohio, it's Preston Old School Hardcore.
Once again, Preston Weichert out of Young Guardians.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, representing Dark Side Boxing by way of Crawfordsville, Indiana, it's Trevor Cruz.
Once again, Trevor Cruz, Crawfordsville, Indiana, Dark Side Boxing Gym.
So every fighter's slogan should be "Stay ready, so you don't have to get ready." So this short notice fights is speaking to Preston's warrior ability. You heard all his accolades and all the fighting martial arts there are. So he's ready.
Now, Coach, I'm going to go ahead and defer to you on this. There is white on the tops of their gloves. Can you explain to our viewers what that is?
So those white portion of the gloves are the scoring areas. So when those white parts of the gloves touches the arms, the body, and the head without being deflected by the other glove, that is a scoring point.
Lots of action early, as we can expect to see in an amateur fight.
and the biggest thing you're going to want to see from Preston here is to establish his jab, him being a taller fighter. So, and right as I say that, we see a couple of good jabs from him. So,
also worth noting, we have another southpaw right-handed matchup. Preston Weichert being the southpaw.
What's this? Trevor?
Trevor
Trevor
Cruz.
Trevor needs to be moving to his left. He needs to settle his feet down a little bit, and he needs to lead with that right hand. He needs to step in and kind of use that straight right hand as a jab and come back with that hook. Preston switches though,
and a big right hand landed there for Preston.
Go to that body. Go to the body afterwards. Take the body.
Minute has passed in our second fight of the evening, Ruthless Made Promotions round number 6.
Preston doing a very good job at using his feet to get out of the way of Trevor's punches. Some good footwork being displayed.
He just landed a good body shot. I like to see him settle his feet down just a little bit and let Trevor just walk into those big subtle shots that he can throw when his feet are planted better from a long distance.
Now, Dominic, I'm going to go ahead and ask you this. You're typically the taller fighter in your fights, so how can Preston properly use his height to his advantage here?
So, coming back to what Coach Lamar said, you really want to sit down on your punches. And the biggest thing is you want subtle footwork. You don't want to be, have, as I like to call it, happy feet. You want to have subtle footwork, and you want to work behind a long and strong jab. So, like I said, it's the biggest thing is to establish that jab, and just have subtle footwork, long shots and just stepping around the guy, turning.
Now, Coach Lamar, if you were in Trevor's corner, what's some advice that you would be giving to him right now?
I would tell Trevor, you got to move to your left. You got to, even though it's awkward to, throw jabs on the southpaw, you got to make it work. Even if you're not touching them with them jabs, so you can keep them somewhat defensive, and so that you can step in there with those straight right hand, left hooks. And he has to be the bully inside. He's trying to, but he's just not setting it up properly to get there because Preston is using that reach.
And they're up as we enter round number 2. Once again, Trevor Cruz versus old school Preston Weichert. Round number 2 underway. Let's see if these fighters make any changes. Preston's already made one change. He came out in a right-handed stance.
And, I'd really like to see some head movement from Trevor. I think that'd help him get inside. A little bit of tick-tock and rolls. That's the biggest thing, man. Got to move that head so you can get inside and land some good shots.
I'm seeing a lot of leaning forward from Preston. Do you think that's part of his strategy?
Being a longer fighter, you don't always want to lean forward. You want to have a good amount of weight on that back foot so you could snap that jab off. So you do want to be careful leaning forward because obviously that closes the distance for Trevor to be in range to punch him. So
Trevor just landed a couple of hooks right there, and another big left hook there from Trevor. Preston appears okay, though.
See, Trevor needs to take advantage of those spots when he's able to get inside. He needs to work instead of jumping back on the outside. Because look here, he'll get inside and he'll jump back on the outside, like right here. Now, what's he have to do all over again? He has to work all the way back inside. And so when you're on the outside, you're in the danger zone.
Oh, and a big right hand landed there from Preston. He's got him on the ropes.
Good
And another big right
combinations
hand.
here.
And he's hurt. He's hurt. This is a good 8 count by referee Jamie Howe.
First knockdown scored for old school Preston Weichert.
Really good advice from Preston Corner. You definitely want to take your time here and you want to pick them apart technically.
Coach Miles Truex and Coach Diamond Long in the red corner tonight.
Good combinations from Preston. I'd really like to see him work behind that jab more, Throw some combinations and some big shots behind that jab.
10 seconds to go here in round number 2.
Another good combination from Preston here.
And round number 2 comes to a close. And it's another
a late 8
knockdown.
count.
Two knockdowns scored in that round for old school Preston Weichert. Coach Lamar, I'm going to ask you once again, this time for Preston Weichert, if you were in his corner, is there anything you would change?
Yeah, when you get inside, man, you got to stay inside. You can't get inside and just immediately by yourself jump back to the outside because now you got to work all over again. And that's why you're getting hit with the 8 counts because you're getting hit with the long shots from the outside. So you got to move your head. You got to slip shots. You got to move your feet and angles to get inside. And you got to make it uncomfortable for Preston. As long as he's comfortable the way he is, it's going to be a long night for you.
Once again, 2 knockdowns scored. Dom, I'm going to go ahead and defer to you. When you get a standing 8 count, how do you collect yourself? What are some things that are going through your head?
So for if I were to get an 8 count like myself, the biggest thing, man, is remain calm and don't lose confidence in yourself, dude. You got to move your feet. You got to get on the outside, and you do have to throw punches. You got to have jabs. There's small times where if you're really hurt, you might have to tie the guy up or something like that. But the biggest thing, man, is to just stay calm and don't let it derail what you want to do. Don't let it derail your game plan. So.
A very fired up Preston Weichert as we enter round number 3, coming out in the southpaw stance this time.
Some good footwork from Preston here. Good jab. Good one, too.
Once again, Preston has been a regular feature here on our Carnage Media pay-per-view cards. We've called a couple of his MMA fights with that wrestling background of his. I believe he has also fought in a kickboxing show over in Angola, Indiana.
He just threw 2 good body shots that affected Trevor. So keep an eye on that. Trevor's hands might drop a little, fearing that Preston is going to go back down to the body, and then Preston could take advantage of that. He could feint down to the body and throw upstairs.
Couple good shots, though, landed by Trevor, not going away.
Some really good combinations landed from Trevor. And come back to some big
He
combinations.
got hit with a left hand.
Preston Weichert starting to tee off as he motions for Trevor to come back inside.
We got a dogfight on our hands here.
Absolutely. I think Trevor might know that he could potentially be behind and is looking for a stoppage.
Definitely a sense of urgency.
Yeah, he knows he's down big. So he needs something big here.
Preston Weichert not going away, though. Lands another hook to the body. Coach Lamar, you mentioned the dropping of the hands with the accumulation of body shots. What else can happen if you take too many shots to the body?
Oh, man, you can listen, some body punches are placed very well, and they're more devastating than headshots. Those body shots, they just linger. So you can feel them the whole duration of the fight.
And round number 3 comes to a close. Great fight from both guys. Saw the toughness from Trevor Cruz. But Dom, what are your thoughts after our first fight, or our second fight of the night? First fight to go the distance.
You know, man, that was a really, really good fight. A really good way to, get the night kicked off. I think we saw a lot of good exchanges and combinations and real good footwork from Preston there. You know, a lot of those shots were set up through foot positioning, using those feet to get off the center line and to land big counter shots from the outside. So, honestly, a really good fight and, performance from Preston Weichart here.
As we wait for our ringside judges to tally up the totals. Coach Lamar, what are your thoughts on the fight?
It was a real good fight. They're both going to get some experience from this. Trevor, going back to the drawing board that he needs to fight like the smaller man, more jabs, head movement, better footwork, and Preston being more calm.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by judges' decision, fighting out of the red corner, Preston Old School Weichert.
Congratulations to Preston Old School Weichert. Can't forget about the interview. Can't forget.
I did that before.
Hey, fantastic by Wade, be an absolute tactician as you take a solid breath in and breath out to prepare. Tell us how you feel after that performance.
A little tired. I took this fight on 2-3 day notice. Got asked, I said yes, and then I was here. So a little underprepared, but feeling good after the win.
Hey, what a great feeling. Who are you thanking for getting you ready to be as prepared as you are?
Got my teammates, Ricky Blue, John Bales, and everyone else. Coach Diamond, Coach Ross, Coach Mandy, Coach Waldo. My supporters, sponsors.
Let's begin this breath back. Let's give a hand to Old School Preston Weichert!
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, Preston Old School Weichert.
My name's Eric Miller with Renegade Reclaim. I'm with my sponsored athletes here at Demolition Fight Team. Renegade Reclaim.
Aiden Myers, 15 years old, 5 feet 6 inches tall. £138 out of Lafayette, Indiana. Dark Side Boxing Club. He would like to shout out Jesus Christ, his mom, his dad, and Colin Myers.
And introducing his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, Nico Montez.
Nico Montez, 16 years old, 5 feet 9 inches tall, 137 pounds, from Wauseon, Ohio, fighting out of Wauseon, Ohio, Wauseon Boxing Club. He wants to shout out his family, and he brings a 1-1 boxing record.
You can go as any one of these, because it ain't no cut for me. Mr. Glock, Mr. Get Done, and I'm sucker free. Yeah. And they know that. Yeah, they call me.
Introducing first, fighting out of our red corner, representing Dark Side Boxing Club by way of Lafayette, Indiana, it's Aiden Myers. And his opponent, fighting out of the blue corner, representing Wauseon Boxing Club by way of Wauseon, Ohio, it's Nico Montez.
Aiden Myers in the red corner, Nico Montez in the blue corner.
This should be a good scrap. I don't know Aiden, but Nico, I believe, has been up to our gym in New Generation in Toledo for some sparring.
I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm looking over at the blue corner right now, and I just see Coach Mickey from the Rocky movies sitting there.
You know what that is? That's Mr. Gene Campbell. Very dedicated to the sport, man. He was the LBC president and former LBC president for over 40 years, and he was also the former president of the Toledo Golden Gloves. So today is actually his first time in over 40 years showing up to a fight where he didn't have to run it or worry about everything.
Wow, that's got to be a relief as we're seeing a lot of action here.
Oh yeah,
lots of athleticism, lots of output. Once again, that's pretty typical of amateur boxing.
And I really like what I'm seeing from Nico here. A lot of snappy, fast punches. He started out with a couple of really good crisp jabs. I'd like to see him get behind that jab more and use his reach.
Aiden Myers not going away with the pressure, though. He's almost in a Mike Tyson type stance. 2 wide feet and constantly moving forward. Lots of big head movement, too.
Yep, and that's the big thing. He's doing a really good job at rolling and getting his head off that center line after he throws.
Both fighters really dig into the body here.
Yeah, they're definitely inside. When they're inside, what I see is that, Aiden is more active, but if you keep a close eye on Nico, he is placing the better body shots while Aiden is more active.
Round number 1 comes to a close. Coach Lamar, we're going to start with you this time. What are your thoughts on our first round, third fight of the evening, Ruthless Made Promotions, round number 6?
Hey, that was a good first round for both boxers. They're keeping it in the phone booth. You got Aiden who's just letting them go, and then you got Nico who's being more of the thinker and placing the shots on the inside more.
Dom, what are your thoughts as we enter the second round here?
The big thing I'm seeing here is, like Coach said, we have him in a phone booth right now, slugging it out on the inside. I'd like to see, with Nico being the more methodical and technical fighter, if you want to use that strategy, you want to do it from the outside, and you want to do it behind a really good jab. With his head movement, if he could just stay on the outside and use his feet to stay off those ropes, I could see him, landing some really good shots and being able to control the pace of this fight.
As we enter round number 2, Nico Montez versus Aiden Myers.
It's a trip hearing Dom just talk so sophisticated in boxing, man. I love it.
I love the sport, man.
Big left hand landed there by Nico early.
That's a beautiful 45 he's got right there. I would like to see him throw the backhand behind that 45.
Aiden not going away, though. Good footwork to get out of that situation by Nico, but once again, some pretty good head movement from Aiden Myers.
That's just a beautiful jab from Nico, man. I'd love to see him just pump that jab out.
So I think that was the adjustment from Coach Gene Campbell. He probably told him, hey, man, get on the outside, use that jab. But here he goes. He's going right back into the phone booth again.
And a big left hand landed there from Nico. Almost looked like Aiden was a little wobbled, but appears to be all right.
Aiden's just a machine, man. He's going to just keep coming. Yeah, that's activity right there.
And a knockdown scored for Aiden Myers out of Lafayette, Indiana, Dark Side Boxing Club.
It would benefit Nico to go to the body a lot more because Aiden, he's real active. So he probably needs to double up on that hook to the body, bring the other backhand to the body. There you go. He's going down there.
And, right here with his backs against the rope, Nico, what he wants to do is he wants to tie, Aiden up, and he wants to turn him. If you're stuck on, in that phone booth, you got to get out of there, and you got to get some space behind your back so you can move around him. This is not where you want to be if you're Nico right now.
Aiden's got him in the corner.
And he can't do this. He can't just be in the corner with his hands up and letting an active guy like Aiden just, he looks strong too. Just throwing them shots, putting them all together.
Very, very interesting fight we have so far here.
Look how he's sitting.
2 rounds.
Look how he's at the office.
He's at the office right now, man.
Crossed his leg over. He's at the office. He's going to work. That's the first time I've seen a fighter sit like that.
That's definitely a new one. I've seen in MMA sometimes guys will sit on the mat because they think that's more comfortable, but I've never seen anything like this in boxing. That's for sure.
It's like a Fortnite emote.
Oh, yeah. And that's the type of confidence you want to see out of your fighters, man. We want to compete, but we also want to have fun at the same time. So, I think that's a good thing you can see from your fighter.
Now, Dom, I got to ask, there has to be a cool celebration that you've seen somebody do, right? Come on, there's got to be one out there.
Man, I'm going to shout out my own teammate right here, Gavin Thunder Richard with his Billy Strut, the Conor McGregor, in his last knockout. That was a beautiful knockout and an even better celebration.
As we enter the third round of a very competitive fight here between Aiden Myers and Nico Montez. Interested to see what adjustments Nico will make in this round.
And he's throwing that 45. He's throwing it real well, but I'd like to see it behind the jab. You got to operate at a longer distance if you're Nico here.
He lands a couple good body shots there. But like you said, Coach Lamar, Aiden's just a machine, man. He's come forward the whole time, really using that head movement.
Yeah, and Nico's got to turn the machine off. Right now it's probably just too late. He should have, like Dom said, stayed on the outside. And there's different ways, when you're the longer fighter to deliver those body shots. You can go straight right hands or stab jabs to the body from a long range that work just as well as staying in the phone booth with this kid who's, he's not going to stop punching and he's strong.
Yeah, and if you're Nico here, man, you want to use your footwork and angle changes to, get your back off those ropes. Because this is not where you want to be. Like I said again, you want to be on the outside. So,
and if you pay attention here to what is it, Aiden? He has some subtle defense. This is not like a game plan to where he's just doing. He's got good defense inside. He's rolling his head after those shots. Going back to the side that he's rolling to. Yeah, that was a good fight right there by Aiden.
Absolutely. Saw a great execution of a game plan, it looks like. Aiden Myers kind of imposed his will the whole time. And not to preambly make a decision, but I'm sure he'll walk away victorious here. Dom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, I think you saw a classic matchup of the shorter fighter versus the longer fighter. And what we saw is the shorter fighter, his game plan worked, and he was able to, execute his game plan. I think that's just with Nico, he's just... You got to try to execute your game plan more and stay long. I think he's a great, talented fighter. I enjoyed seeing him go out there and perform. But like I said, being a longer fighter, you want to try to stay on the outside and land those shots from the outside. So.
And this is why in the beginning stages of boxing, basic is key. You got to be the master of your basics. Everybody wants to go out here. They want to be that flashy guy. They want to be that cool guy that's, that's looking good in the ring. But, basics prevail over everything.
As we turn to our ring announcer, Eddie, for the official decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by judges' decision, fighting out of the red corner,
Aiden Myers walks away with a decision victory here tonight.
Hey, I'm here with Aiden Myers, fantastic judges' decision win. Tell me how you're feeling right now, man.
I'm feeling great. Definitely hard fight.
A great show of skill and strategy. What was your plan going into this bout?
Stay close and don't get into his reach.
Solid plan indeed. And lastly, who are you thanking for your preparedness and your ability tonight?
First of all, I'd like to thank Jesus Christ and my coaches and my parents.
Enough said. Go get some breath. Go get some water. Let's give our hands together for Eddie.
Outstanding performance from Aiden Myers tonight. Controlled the fight almost from start to finish with a couple small moments. But as we move into our fourth fight of the night, I would like to remind you, ladies and gentlemen,
Our next combat fighting out of the red corner, Anthony Zigara.
once again, ladies and gentlemen, make sure to click that link to purchase the rest of these outstanding fights in our description below. As Anthony Zigarella makes his way to the ring tonight out of the red corner.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, Johnny Little.
Johnny Little, 21 years old, 6 feet 3 inches tall, 165 pounds, from Columbus, Ohio, fighting out of Columbus, Ohio, Rising Stars Boxing Gym.
Nothing new under the sun. Nobody fucking with son. I got a couple of sons, a couple of guns, a couple of niggas that pass at the party and talk at the fun. She digging me and I'm talking to
You know, and I can tell just from the body language here, you know, Anthony is very, very experienced boxer, so gonna definitely be a good fight between these two.
And introducing first, fighting out of our red corner, representing Formula A1 Boxing by way of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, it's Anthony Zigarella.
Once again, Anthony Zigarella, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
And his
Go
opponent,
Browns.
fighting out of the blue corner, representing Rising Stars Boxing by way of Columbus, Ohio, it's Johnny Little.
Johnny Little at a Rising Stars Boxing Gym, Columbus, Ohio.
Guy Anthony, just by his uniform, you know, he's got a national uniform, so it looks like he has a bit of experience going to the nationals. And then you got Johnny Little. He's coming from a experienced gym and trainer. I like that right there from Anthony. You know, he gets his work off, and he wraps the taller man up, so he can't get his work off. So he's fighting and smothering right now. Love it.
That is textbook boxing right there. You know, you want to get your shots off, and then sometimes you can just smother your opponent so he can't land those counter shots.
Yeah, let the referee do his job.
Worth mentioning that Anthony is also in a southpaw stance with some America Under Armour socks. I mean, come on now.
And you can see Anthony, you know, he's fighting for that foot positioning. He wants to get that lead foot on the outside of Johnny's lead foot so he can line up that left hand down the middle. And so far, he's winning that foot battle, guys.
Couple big shots, though, landed from Johnny Little.
Yeah, Johnny is so if Anthony doesn't take care of this, you know, with his footwork soon, Johnny is putting a lot of foot pressure on there. When I mean by foot pressure, he's making Anthony panic fight because Johnny's just always there. So that could tire you. And there's a low blow right there.
Johnny Little taking a minute to recover.
Good combination from Anthony.
Tied up there by Johnny Little.
Beautiful 45 from Johnny right back there.
These guys are used to fighting 3-minute rounds too, and the rounds are kind of short to 2 minutes tonight.
Very close first round as that comes to a close. Dom, what are your thoughts as we enter the second round?
Yeah, man, honestly, you can definitely tell these are two very experienced boxers. And, you know, myself, I am surprised, you know, because we got Johnny almost taking the role of the shorter fighter, putting on foot pressure against Anthony. And, you know, you expect usually with the taller fighter to work behind that jab, but Johnny has, you know, really good head movement and footwork. So he's using that foot pressure right now to really control the pace of the fight so far.
And Coach Lamar, going into the second round, what are some adjustments that you would make for either side?
I'd like to see, Anthony? I'd like to see Anthony after he delivers his attack. I like to see him step around Johnny because Johnny he's pressing the fight. He's bringing the fight to him. I like to see Johnny, even though, you know, it's good that he's using the foot pressure, but put that jab behind that foot pressure. Set up those shots a little better. You know, with that jab, they just don't see the other shots coming.
As we enter round number 2, Ruthless Made Promotions Round 6. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, if you do not want to miss the rest of our action-packed card, we have 12 more fights scheduled for tonight. So, in order to watch the rest of the card, make sure to click that link in the description below to purchase our pay-per-view.
Oh, nice overhand right on the button, but it did not affect Johnny.
Got to respect the chin, and you can tell both these guys are in pretty good shape.
Again, like I said, so they're used to fighting 3-minute rounds. So this is a quick fight for them. So they're picking up the pace.
2 more big shots landed there from Anthony Zigarella.
And that's just good boxing right there. Well, tall boxing. He's in the inside and he can't work. You know, he ties the bigger man up.
Good double hook from Anthony right there.
Yeah, he's doubling. He's talking in there too. He's feeling himself. Referee gets him for it too.
Good right hand from Anthony.
Johnny Little answers back, though, really dig into the body there with that left hand.
Some beautiful body shots from Johnny Little there.
So Johnny is he's just a tad behind Anthony. You know, Anthony's tad faster. So, you know, Johnny probably needs to start utilizing feints to freeze Anthony up so he can get more of his work off because he's just a tad behind in the work rate.
Ten seconds to go here in round number 2. Anthony Zigarella versus Johnny Little.
Some very high-level boxing being showcased right here.
As round number 2 comes to a close, Coach Lamar, what are your thoughts on that second round?
It was a good round. You know, you had Johnny looking to make the fight. I like to see him come out in the third round, establish his jab more, establish some feints so he could freeze the quicker Anthony up so he can get some work off. I like to see Anthony just to use a little bit more angles after he's done punching.
Now, Dom, if you could give one fighter one piece of advice, what would you say going into this third round?
You know, I'd say with Johnny, man, you want to keep the fight at a distance because like Coach said, if you want to utilize those feints, man, you can't do it on the inside in the phone booth. You want to use those feints. You want to keep him on the outside with the jab. And, you know, Johnny hasn't been using a lot of jabs, but when he does, you know, it's a snappy, fast jab. And how he landed that overhand right, he put the jab to the hip before. So you want to, you know, target the body, maybe throw some feints to the body, and then come upstairs again. So just establishing that distance for Johnny.
As we enter round number 3 on our last fight of our preliminary showing. Thank you all for tuning in, whether it be on Carnage Media or through Bite Size Sports. We appreciate your support. Lots of activity from Johnny Little here early.
I think whoever takes this round wins the bout.
Very close fight here so far. Guys, I'm not going to lie. That one would have scared the crap out of me. We still haven't had anybody come through the ropes yet, but there have been a couple of close calls. Actually, Dom, at the last card you fought on up in Toledo at the Toledo Golden Gloves, that was one of the only times.
A nice right hand landed.
Wow.
And he's hurt. He's hurt. The ref needs to take a good look at him because he's on unsteady legs.
Anthony is hungry
He's
for
coming.
blood.
He's coming. His coach, he's losing him valuable time.
Oh, big shots from Anthony here.
Lots of pressure. Anthony can smell blood. He's looking to put this away.
He needs to start to the body. Take the attack to the body and then come back to the head.
What you see here is Anthony is landing some good shots, but he's smothering himself on the inside. You know, he wants to give himself room to work.
And he needs to slow down too, because he still got, you know, Johnny who's throwing shots, and you don't want to rush yourself because you did hurt a guy, and then you run into a big shot yourself. So all these young boxers out here, if you guys get someone hurt, attack the body, bring the hands down. Oh, see right there, Johnny lands a big right hand. Slow the pace down, slow it down, understand what you're doing, work the body, and then try to get that big shot again. You didn't get that big shot the first time by rushing it.
As round number 3 comes to a close. Overall, very competitive fight. Coach Lamar, what are your thoughts?
It was a great fight, you know, great amateur bout right there. But I think Anthony sealed the deal with that 8 count and that big shot. Kudos to John for fighting through it and landing a big shot towards the end of that third round as well.
That was a gnarly right hand that he ate. Dom, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, man. I think that was an extremely high level bout just now, and that big right hand definitely is going to seal the deal for Anthony. But coming back to what Coach Lamar said, man, when it comes to these high level fights and you're going against top boxers, you got to be careful when you got a guy hurt because Johnny landed that uppercut at the end, and sometimes you got to be careful being so aggressive against somebody. You don't want to get hit with a counter shot when you got a guy hurt because he's still a high level boxer. So great bout between the two.
As we await the official announcement from Eddie, our ring announcer.
And your winner after this battle, by way of judge's decision, fighting out of the blue corner, Johnny
Wow.
Very close decision. Johnny Little walks away our winner tonight, surviving a knockdown in the third round.
Hey, Johnny, what are you doing, man? Come talk to me.
Yeah, I mean, it was a good fight. I had it scored the other way, but obviously I'm commentating, so I'm not judging. Let's see what Johnny has to say.
First of all, I want to thank God for this victory. I want to thank my teammates, my mom, my dad, and everybody that helped me get to this point.
Johnny Little, but big victory today. What's next in your career?
Get ready for nationals.
Hey, he knows who he makes, he knows who he likes, and he knows what he's getting ready for. Hands together for Johnny Little! Hey, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be administering a quick intermission, so make sure you get some food, get some drinks, and be back soon.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, 12.
Are you looking for an energy boost without the jitters? Let our friends at W Energy help you with their fantastic selection of flavors. Just visit www.w.gg and use the code BITESIZESPORTS at checkout for 10% off your order total. Again, that is www.dubby.gg. Code BITESIZESPORTS. Busy Beekeeping is a QuickBooks Online Pro Advisor providing bookkeeping services to small businesses. Going beyond the numbers for your bookkeeping needs, let the Busy Bees do the work so you can concentrate on your business. Contact Virginia at 419-957-3924 or email the account on screen to see how Busy Beekeeping can help you.